Aloha. We are at the Honolulu Memorial, the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, at the center of the Courts of Honor. Behind me is a statue of Lady Liberty with a quote on the bottom. That's a quote from Abraham Lincoln. It's a solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice on the altar of freedom. There's a very interesting backstory to this quote, and I have with us Dr. Christopher Hamner of George Mason University, who is going to give us some further detail on this quote.
We're standing here in Hawaii at a monument that pays tribute to Americans killed in the wars of the 20th century. Yet the main piece of text comes from a letter from the mid-19th century. It's a letter that comes out of Abraham Lincoln's office at the midpoint of the Civil War to a Mrs. Bixby, who lost a number of sons in the Union Army in the effort to put down the rebellion and restore constitutional government throughout the country. It's interesting to me as a historian that we've got 19th century language in a memorial about the 20th century, but I think it speaks to the idea that this language about laying a costly sacrifice upon the altar of freedom, the way it touches on religious symbolism, it's stayed with us now for more than 150 years. And I think that's a great tribute to the kind of power that it has to speak about themes of patriotism, nationalism, and sacrifice. Those of you who've seen Saving Private Ryan, this is a letter that shows up in the first quarter of the film to justify the mission that serves as the main narrative device. So it's this language, I think, that reaches out to us over more than a century and a half and talks about some of the really profound ideals that monuments like this one speak to.
It raises a point. What motivates a soldier to lay a costly sacrifice in the face of horrendous risk of casualty?